What's up guys? Today in this video we're going to be talking about the in-game Bone Necromancer build. But before we do, I wanted to apologize on how long the video took to get out. I wanted to make sure I got to 100 and maxed out my glyphs in Paragon and do the proper testing to make sure the numbers were there. I didn't want to be like some of the other content creators who got to level 60 and then put out a video and started screaming, "This is the ultimate in-game Bone Necromancer build," without doing the proper testing. It's like sitting on the TV and watching the couch. It's pretty dumb. With that being said, let's get into it. As you can see guys, the build hits extremely hard. It deletes bosses in 3 to 5 seconds. They don't even stand a chance. I've been speedrunning 60s, 70s, 80s, and I'm running 90s very easily. So I'll leave you to finish watching the clips, and then we'll get into how this build works and what makes it tick. Alright guys, let's get into skills, and we're not even going to be using the basic skills, we're just going to use it to get down to the core. So we're going to put 1 point into Bone Splinters, 1 into Enhanced Bone Splinters, 3 into Unliving Energy, 1 into Imperfectly Balanced, 5 into Bone Spear, 1 into Enhanced Bone Spear, 1 into Paranormal Bone Spear, 3 into Huge Flesh, 1 into Blood Mist, 1 into Corpse Explosion, 3 into Grim Harvest, 3 into Fueled by Death, 3 into Death's Embrace, 3 into Death's Reach, 3 into Amplify Damage, 1 into Decrepify, 1 into CT, 1 into Enhance CT, 1 into Plague CT, 3 into Serration, 3 into Compound Fracture, and 3 into Avulsion, 2 into Inspiring Leader, 3 into Stand Alone, 3 into Memento Mori, 1 into Bone Storm, 1 into Prime Bone Storm, 1 into Supreme Bone Storm, and 1 into Ossified Essence. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Decrepify and why we chose it. So whenever you cast Decrepify, it slows the enemies by 40% and they deal 20% less damage to you. And then if you mix that with the Amplify Damage, that gives you 12% increased damage to those enemies. And then mix that with the Amplify Glyph, and that's going to give us another 10%. So we have 22% more damage, 40% on the slow, and they do 20% less damage to you. It's just way too good to pass up guys, we gotta take it. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about are the hearts. The first heart that I'm using is called the Cage Heart of the Dark Dance. And basically what it does, it trades life for primary resource. That way we can keep our primary resource stacked. And the more primary resource you have at the cast of a Bone Spear, the harder that Bone Spear is going to hit. The second heart that I want to talk about is Vashran's Heart, also known as Heart of the Barber. And basically what it does, it takes all your hits in a certain amount of time, and it amplifies it by a certain percentage depending on your roll, and it explodes to all surrounding enemies. And that's how you're going to get these really high crits. And it is bugged right now, so when you're in a group, it does steal everybody else's damage. But hopefully they'll be fixing it soon and it's not going to affect your single target. The third heart that I'm using is the Cage Heart of the Sacrilegious, and basically what it does is any corpse skill that's on your bar, it procs passively for 20% reduced damage. So whenever your CT goes off, it's going to proc your Grasping Veins, which does more critical strike damage to enemies. And whenever Corpse Explosion goes off, then it's going to proc your Flesh Eater, which is going to give you 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. And this is happening all the time, so you're keeping that 40% increased damage. Alright, let's get into gear. So, for our headpiece, we're going to be running Deathless Visage. And make sure you get max essence and armor as high as you can. For the chest, we're going Protector. And make sure you make it as tanky as you can and get a little damage on there also. For the gloves, we're going Serrations, and make sure you get primary resource crit and the Bone Spears. Those are the most important. For the pants, we are going to make them as tanky as we can, get some max life on there, some total armor. For the boots, we're going Wind Striker. Make sure you get some CT, movement speed, and essence costs on there. For the neck, we're running Grasping Veins. Make sure you get movement speed, essence cost reduction, and Evulsion. For our first ring, we're going Edge Masters, and you can replace the crowd control with crit damage. Our second ring, we're going Exposed Flesh, and these are pretty much the stats that you want. And for the sword, we're running Splintering, and these are all the correct stats. Alright, moving on to the Book of the Dead. First, we're going to sacrifice our Skeletal Warriors for the 5% increased crit. And then we're going to sacrifice our Shadow Mages for the max essence. And then we're going to sacrifice our Iron Golem for the 30% increased critical strike damage. So, for our first board, we're going to be running Amplify. For our second board, we're going Bone Graft to Sacrificial. For our third board, we're going Flesh Eater with Exploit. For our fourth board, we are running Sin of Death with Control. And for our fifth and final board, we're going Blood Begets Blood, and that's going to be Essence. Alright guys, that's the build video. I hope you like it and enjoy playing it. And as usual, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.